Visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Breaking news, Norman Public Schools are facing a cyber threat. We have the details. Part of Oklahoma are at risk for severe weather. We'll have more coming up. And elections are nearing. We have the latest. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Amaya Ward.
And I'm Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi. We begin tonight with breaking news. We learned this evening that Norman Public Schools is under cyber attack. They sent out an email to parents urging students to stay off their school-issued devices. In their email, NPS says they are already working to resolve the issue, but it will still be a significant disruption. The ransomware could spread to other devices if the device is connected to a home network.
Man, Dakota, it got really cold out today.
Yeah, it really did. OU Nightly meteorologist Peyton Gallion is inside the studio with more and weather. Peyton?
Yes, guys, a cold front came through just a couple hours ago, and right now 71 in Ardmore. The cold front has not reached them yet, but here in Norman, 44 degrees, and up in Guyman, 39 degrees. The whole state's just kind of experiencing different types of weather. We have snow, and then we have this line of severe weather that Norman is not going to get any severe weather with this, but eastern Oklahoma, that's going to get the brunt of this. And a moderate risk has been issued for severe weather. This is going to last late into the night. So coming up in Maine weather, I'm going to talk more about the threats you're going to see with this severe weather, how cold we're going to get in your game day forecast for tomorrow.
Thanks, Peyton. Early voting opened 2 days ago. Tyler DeLuca is live at the Cleveland County Fairgrounds with more. Tyler.
Yeah, guys, early voting did continue here today at the Cleveland County Fairgrounds, and I was able to talk to multiple voters about how important the early voting window is.
Well, it just makes it a lot more convenient, especially we've got the 3 days of Thursday, Friday, Saturday being able to vote. So that way it just, you don't know if doctor's appointments or having to work or what's on your schedule. You can always just zoom over here, vote, and be done.
Well, it made it a lot easier, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to vote.
And then for you came in today from start to finish. How long did the process take you to get your vote in?
5-10 minutes. Yeah, it's easy. Real easy.
Yeah, guys, the polls will be open until 6 p.m. today and then open again from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow. Reporting live from the Cleveland County Fairgrounds, Tyler DeLuca, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Tyler. Democratic Minority Leader Representative Emily Virgin has termed out, leaving an empty seat in the District 44 race. OU Nightly's Addie Crawford is live on campus. Addie.
That's right. District 44 covers 11 square miles of Norman, including downtown and the entirety of OU's campus, which is where I'm at right now. I spoke with both candidates to get a deeper look to who they are. Introducing Democrat Jared Deck.
I'm a human who's constantly seeking the humanity in others.
Hoping to carry the torch from his predecessor.
And Minority Leader Virgin has been an outstanding state representative for Core Norman and House District 44. And my goal here is to have a smooth transition.
With a focus on education, specifically higher education.
We are overburdening young people before they're really even able to get a financial start in life. And so we've got to systemically reverse that trend.
Despite endorsements from politicians and organizations.
I've knocked 15,000 doors now. It's really about getting that one-to-one endorsement from the voter.
Now introducing Republican R.J. Harris.
A legislator that always walks anything that I could vote for or support through the Oklahoma and the federal Constitution.
Who believes in showing up.
And I saw that the Democratic candidate, whoever that may be, after their primary was just going to win by default. I said, no, okay, Diffusion of responsibility is not going to happen here. If then I'll have to run.
Wanting voters to know,
If they want a candidate who's not just going to tell them whatever they want to hear to get elected, I'm going to be that candidate that fights to protect their life, liberty, and property.
urging Norman residents to participate.
While it is true that Oklahoma is a very conservative state politically, you know, I don't think that's a reason to be complacent.
Now, before going out and voting, if you want to learn more about both candidates, you can go to their individual social media accounts and their websites. Reporting live on campus, Addie Crawford, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Addie. Up next, protests continue in Iran, leading to thousands under arrest.
Find out what's causing it coming up.
Yeah, and there's not as much rain here in Norman like there is in eastern Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's right. OU Nightly meteorologist Peyton Gallion will be back in a little bit to talk more about this weather.
Is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
United Nations has announced the number of people who have died in the Iran protests recently. Paris Condros has that and the rest of today's international and national headlines from the News Center. Paris?
At least 14,000 people have been detained in Iran following protest over the past 6 weeks. The demonstrations started after the death of a 22-year-old woman following her arrest by the country's morality police. The protests have resulted in 277 deaths. The U.S. economy has seen a rise in employment since October. The Bureau of Labor Statistics claimed that 261,000 positions were added, despite the unemployment rate rising to 3.7%. Even with the increase in jobs, economists are still predicting a recession. And massive layoffs have hit Twitter as new CEO Elon Musk started cost-cutting the company. Numerous Twitter employees posted Friday on the platform explaining they have been locked out of their work emails without notice. Musk plans to lay off 3,700 total employees. And the Powerball jackpot is now set at $1.6 billion, with the drawing taking place this Saturday. Are you guys feeling lucky?
I'm feeling a little lucky. What about you, Dakota?
Sometimes I have it on my side, but not recently.
Yeah, well, the weather is just getting colder and colder. Peyton, what can you tell us?
Yes, that cold weather is going to stick around, but I'll tell you how much longer it takes till we bounce back in temperatures and when this rain will go away.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year. And lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region, too. So chances are there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. And taking a look at the South Oval right now, it is very dreary that rain is starting to come down once again here in Norman. Currently right now, temperatures 44 degrees. That rain is coming down. Winds pretty gusty right now with that cold front that came through. You can see the front has made its way through most of the metro. You can see temperatures falling extremely. Parts of the state that haven't been affected by the front, 70s in some areas. And with this front that came through, you can see Guyman 37 degrees colder than this time yesterday. It feels almost like an entirely different season, which is probably why there is some snow falling in the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle. But switching gears, the eastern portion of the state, there is severe weather coming through. This line of storms has already produced tornadoes that has resulted in one fatality confirmed by the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. You can see there's flood watches and warnings going on, tornado watch in this yellow shaded region going till 8 o'clock tonight. And so this band of rain is going to move out of the state of Oklahoma probably around the 9-10 o'clock hour, clearing out for your Saturday. So the game day tomorrow is going to be fine, not impacted by this whatsoever. But with that line of severe weather coming through, this is why there is a moderate risk of severe weather issued for parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and parts of Louisiana for later tonight. Now, temperatures across the state, they're going to continue to fall. That front, as the front makes its way out of the state, temperature is going to continue to fall in the overnight hours. 38 degrees tomorrow morning when you wake up here in Norman. Completely different from what we've been experiencing the past few days. Temperatures are going to warm up by that tailgate time because we finally have an afternoon kickoff. So by that lunchtime hour when you're tailgating, 51 degrees, a little bit cooler than we've experienced recently. And as you make your way into the stadium for that 2 o'clock kickoff, gates open at noon. Temperatures going to rise into the 60s by kickoff, 64 by halftime, and then 62 by the end of the game. Is going to be a very clear day. Clouds are going to move out of the area. No more dreary conditions like we've seen the past few days. And going into the rest of the week, don't forget we fall back for daylight saving time Saturday night into Sunday, bouncing back in temperatures on Sunday, Monday, into the rest of the week. Once again, we are going to be cloudy voting day on Tuesday. Make sure you go out to the polls for those elections. And we are watching another cold front that makes its way into the metro coming into next week. Dakota, Maya.
Thanks, Peyton. Well, that's all from us. Be sure to tune in on November 8th for live election coverage.
Yeah, and coming up next, our Big Friday sports anchors break down the upcoming OU game. And we feature one OU player who's silencing the haters. Sports is next.
Where does your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
The Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Brooklyn Sweet.
And I'm Hallie Moss. We've got a packed show for you today, and as usual, we'll start with some OU football. Senior defensive back Justin Broyles was blasted on social media for his performances so far this season, but up in Ames, he proved the haters wrong. OU Nightly's Dylan Rivera has more.
There's a lesson to take away from the 1994 football film, The Little Giants. Football is 80% mental, 40% physical. For Oklahoma defensive back Justin Broyles, he says he's always understood there's a lot that goes into the mental side of the game.
I've always understood that there's more to the game than just the physical side. You know, there's so much more in terms of the mental side of the game, and not even so we could talk mentality, but it goes deeper in terms of, you know, stillness and awareness, being able to find the moment, being able to find flow, being able to stay in the zone, you know, being able to have a next play mentality. You know, that's kind of been my chase this offseason.
That strength and mentality was put to the test early on in this season. Fans bashing Broyles all over social media. The fifth-year senior has learned over time to ignore the negativity.
Nobody's exempt from people's opinions, people's comments. So, I mean, once you understand that, then you realize to just block it out.
While Broyles became the online lightning rod for the team's poor play, word of the fans' comments made its way to head coach Brent Venables, and he defended his defense's leader.
Why anybody would spend 1 ounce of energy being emotional or mad about a player that loves this university and is committed every ounce of who he is, every fiber in his body to helping this place be great. I don't know. I don't know what's behind that.
Venables continued on, saying what fans don't see behind closed doors is how Broyles leads by taking accountability for others' mistakes.
He takes every moment of where something isn't going right, he takes it on his own shoulders. He bears that burden, even when it's not his fault. And he just cares. He cares as much as any player I've been around.
In the game against Iowa State, Broyles silenced the noise with this interception, a critical fourth down stop, and a total of 4 tackles on the day. Broyles knows to continue quieting the critics. The answer is surprisingly simple. He just needs to be Justin Broyles.
I just show up and be myself every single day. And if I be myself every single day, you know, that'll be just enough. I don't need to go out and try to be anybody else or try to force anything. Like, I'm put in this position right here, right now as a leader. It's because I've been me. Like, that's what got me here, and that's what's going to get me there.
Dylan Rivera, OU Nightly.
The Eagles' undefeated reign continues after Thursday night's win over the Texans, marking their first 8-0 start ever.
That's right, the Texans scored the first TD of the game, but the Eagles fought back with a 91-yard drive for a touchdown. Philly QB Jalen Hurts threw for 2 touchdowns in the 29-17 win.
And the OKC Thunder have been on a roll, but Thursday night the Nuggets put a stop to that momentum. OU Nightly's Parker Abels tells us about a standout player despite the loss.
The Oklahoma City Thunder's 4-game win streak came to an end, falling to the Denver Nuggets 122-110. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the star of the game, putting up 37 points on 13 of 17 shooting. And while he was the leading scorer of the game, he didn't hesitate to get his teammates involved.
The one thing that's impressive about him, it was a timeout late where I had something drawn up for him, and it really wasn't for him, but it was a Giddey play where it would end up being a 2-man game with him and Giddey, and he readjusted the play to move himself further away from the ball because he said, I think, Josh has got it going right now. And the huddle broke, and I looked up, and he's got 35 points.
Your star player is cooking like he is, and he's able to give it to other guys and get other guys involved. Speaks volumes of him, and it's also another weapon to have him as a screener because, guys don't want to leave him, and he creates so much attention, and he understands that, and coach puts him in, positions to be the screener and gets other guys downhill. But, he's such an unselfish guy and, willing guy to make other guys around him better and get other guys going.
I just think, for us to win games, it's going to take more than me. And guys got to get comfortable out there. Guys got to play in space. It's always a five-man sport, five-man game. I can't score 110 points every night, so I'm going to need the other guys. And I just want to make sure they're comfortable offensively and can get it going in spots as well, too.
The Thunder will now head north to face Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks Saturday in Milwaukee. From inside the Paycom Center, Parker Abels, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Parker. OU women's basketball made their debut and started strong with a win. OU Nightly's Jack Horan reports on some old and new Sooner faces that took the court Thursday night.
The last warm-up is complete for OU women's basketball as they beat Emporia State 90-67. The player that highlighted the night was sixth-year senior Anna Yanusa, and head coach Jenny Baranczyk was very excited for her return.
It was fun to watch her, especially defensively. And, you know, I think she brings another element to us just in terms of her communication, her poise, her ability just to work. I thought in terms of defensively, I thought they did some really good things.
From sixth-year senior to freshman making her debut tonight, 6'4" Kirsten Johnson got to play in front of Sooner fans for the first time, and Baranczyk was happy with what she saw.
And I thought her effort was great. I thought she kept the ball alive a few times, especially in that first quarter when our shots weren't necessarily falling. You know, we were getting some good looks, but they weren't necessarily going in, and I thought she kept it alive a few times. I thought she played really hard. I thought she adjusted. You know, she got stuck behind one time. The next time she's moving, she tips it. You know, I was really impressed.
The Sooners open up their regular season against Oral Roberts at 4 p.m. on Monday. Reporting from the Lloyd Noble Center, Jack Horan, OU Nightly.
Oklahoma's soccer season came to an end last night after a tough 3-0 loss against reigning Big 12 champion TCU. The Sooners' Big 12 semi-final fall was the first shutout all season, crushing a 25-game streak.
And looking ahead, OU hopes to return 19 student athletes under head coach Mark Carr for the 2023 season. And coming up on Big Friday Sports, we'll tell you about a shocking loss in Oklahoma high school football.
We even crossed the Red River to highlight some Thursday night stars who are catching Oklahoma eyes and give you an inside look at OU's next quarterback.
To Sofia and Gabriel, even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Central and Midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
To Big Friday Sports, and if you are heading to the OU Baylor game tomorrow and want to start off with some tailgating, better grab that jacket because it is going to be a chilly one. 51 degrees for your tailgate times because we finally have an afternoon kickoff at 2 p.m. so you can enjoy some tailgating in the morning, and then once you head into the stadium when gates open at noon, temperatures are going to climb towards 61 degrees, 64 by halftime, and then falling back down in the evening hours towards the end of the game. The skies are going to be pretty clear tomorrow. No dreary days like we have seen the past few days. Brooklyn and Hallie, I am ready to be back in the Palace for another Sooner win. How about y'all?
Thanks, Peyton. I know that I am. But the nation's longest high school football win streak, dating back to 2018, came to an end last night in a 38-35 showdown.
Bixby scored twice in the final 3 minutes of the game in an attempt to close the gap, but ultimately gave Jinx the celebration of a lifetime.
And speaking of Thursday night lights,
Ballin' with Brig is back. That's right. In studio is Brig Bates, who's here to break down some local high school football matchups from Thursday night.
Ballin' with Brig is back in session for another Thursday night under the lights. We kick off at Norman North as they host the Enid Plainsmen in the last regular game of the season. OU commit Chapman McCown unleashed his OU DNA to start the game as he burns past the defense and flips into the end zone for a touchdown. Norman North took a commanding 35-13 lead over Enid in the first half. But it wasn't long until Enid star wide receiver Tyke Andrews found his groove for an acrobatic catch to put Enid on the board. And to ice the game, Chapman McCown took an Enid defender to the laundromat and put him in the spin cycle for his 4th touchdown of the night as the Norman North Timberwolves passed the Enid Plainsmen 52-32. And on the other side of the Red River, OU Knightley's Jimmy Wicks caught up with OU commit Jackson Arnold in the Denton Geyer Wildcats. Jimmy?
The perfect end to the perfect season. Geyer caps off their 10-0 record with an emphatic win at home on senior night with a score of 31-3 over Rock Hill. And now there's only one thing left on the agenda: playoffs.
The Wildcats started the game off slow with this huge pass by Jackson Arnold in the first. It opened the floodgates open for Geyer. And despite the tough start, Jackson was laser focused at the task at hand.
Obviously, before the season, this is everything we wanted, to go 10-0 and ultimately 16-0 is what we want. But we made a statement so far, and I'm super proud of our boys.
The old saying goes, defense wins championships, and Geyer has a good one. Led by 5-star safety Peyton Bowen, and in the season finale, he recorded 2 interceptions in an impressive team performance.
Yeah, the first one, it was a whole different pass, and I tried to make a play on it once I saw the quarterback launch up, and then load up. And then the second time it was a tip pass, great play by our linebacker Blade to tip the pass, and I was just there. I was just right place, right time.
With the help of this huge 43-yard run by Jackson Arnold, the Wildcats got the job done. Now Arnold is focused on next week.
Yeah, definitely a lot sloppier than we wanted. Part of that just not being focused, not coming out sharp, not focusing pregame, but came out with the win. 31-3 is definitely a solid win. Just carry this momentum on into playoffs.
Next week, Texas high school football playoffs begin, and with the help of Peyton Bowen and Jackson Arnold, Geyer might just get their 3rd championship ring. Reporting from Denton, Texas, Jimmy Wicks, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Brig and Jimmy. I know I'm excited to see Jackson Arnold take the Palace next year. And talk about a nail-biter Thursday night in Game 5 of the World Series. After the Astros threw the first combined no-hitter in World Series history in Game 4, Philly was looking for redemption.
But redemption they did not get, as the Astros pulled out another close win 3-2 with an extraordinary game-saving catch.
I know. I mean, that catch by McCormick was crazy. I was watching in a crowd full of people, and it was a great atmosphere. Everyone was yelling. There was Astros fans, there was Phillies fans, and it was great.
He could not stay on his feet. The way that he just fumbled backwards and then held it up at the end. It was fantastic.
Had to have hurt a little bit. He hit the wall hard.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for watching Big Friday Sports.
And if you're heading out to the game tomorrow, don't forget your jackets as the Sooners go on a bear hunt.
Is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important